I should just go live on YouTube now.
Okay.
Because we've basically started the show.
Yeah, we're just rambling here. And,
hello, everyone, and welcome to the Level Up Live with me, your host, Marco DeSantos, also known as the Mechanic Critic. With me are two very special people. First and foremost, the president of Level 99 Games himself, weighing in at 5 bullet boxes. I have no idea if that's accurate. Brad Talton!
Woo! Hey, hey everybody, it's me, Brad Talton. Thank you for joining us here on Level Up Live, our improv talk show where we talk about everything that's happening and etc. And I'm Brad, president of Level 99 Games. I'm very excited to be here, and we have one other really special person with us today, which is Tycho Brahe, aka Jerry Holkins, aka one of the creators of Penny Arcade. So Jerry, why don't you jump on stage and join us here?
Right. Jerry's currently in the chat but has not accepted my invite to speak. There he goes!
You know what? It feels great. I'm sorry, I didn't know there was such a thing as a stage.
Yeah, well, welcome to the stage!
I didn't know this is how it worked at all.
Welcome.
I thought I was just going to be like in a room or something, but listen, it's my incredible pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me along and saying things. I mean, you have no idea what I'm going to say to your community, and I appreciate that bravery.
See,
yeah,
Jerry,
I was,
you have to
I was
understand.
a little concerned, but
guys,
they've been following us. They've probably seen you before at some point.
And here's the point. Will Jerry ever say something more insane than the things I say? Doubt.
No. Probably not.
But, Jerry, you're not the only one special guest here, because we have the other one, the designer of Bullet himself, the phenom, the phenomenon, Josh Van Nanningham. Josh, say hi.
Oh, it's been a while since I've been on here.
He won't.
How's it going, everybody?
He won't. Hey, guys.
You didn't.
He didn't.
Well, here we are.
Gosh,
Here we
guys.
are, and
I'm so excited.
Special thanks to everybody joining us today. Thank you for coming in. We are live here on YouTube as well and on Discord, and our chat is open. So if you want to talk to us in the room here, you can leave a comment on the YouTube, or you can post in the stage chat, and we'll do our best to answer questions during the question and answer phases as they come up.
That's optimal. That's an optimal venue for questions and answers, and I respect it.
You know what, Jerry? You're right. See, that's the thing about podcasting and doing a show in general, is that you have to optimize it for viewing pleasure or listening pleasure. And honestly, I just want to know, Jerry, like, how are you, man? Like, Josh, Brad, and I all kind of caught up before you came here. So how are you? Like, how are you as a human person? The man behind the mask.
Yeah, I appreciate your asking. It has been an incredibly busy day, but I have been looking forward to this portion of the day, all day. Indeed, I have poured a drink, even though it is 3 o'clock, and I'm ready to celebrate the Level 99 community.
Wow. Well, we're here to celebrate you and your wonderful characters.
Indeed. I have a couple.
Yeah, I mean, a couple. Guys, do you think a couple is understating it, Brad?
Yeah. I think the Penny Arcade library is quite illustrious, perhaps the right word. It's and it goes back a good deal.
It can rightly be called a roster. So
yeah,
roster.
Could you? Okay, is it bigger or smaller than the roster of Smash Brothers All Stars?
I mean, that's a canonical roster. I mean, that's a deep one. I probably can't touch that. Certainly not in terms of, because there's some real stars in that set.
Yeah.
But okay. No, I have enough stars, quote unquote, to try to make you make games around them all the time and bother you online. Okay. I mean, I have enough characters that I can try to push them on you and see if you'll make games out of them. And I've even succeeded a couple times.
A couple times, and with our friends too. We're really excited about the upcoming crossover with Pocket Paragons.
Oh yeah, your buddies with Solus.
Yeah. Chris Solis actually got his start here at level 99 with us.
Yeah, that's why I know. He did Temporal Odyssey, right?
Yep, Temporal Odyssey and
he worked a little bit
Terran
on
Odyssey and
Exceed. He worked on Exceed Season 4 with us as well, I believe.
There is not an Exceed deck that I don't own. So,
Wait, Jerry, that means you have the Forbidden, the Chase Skullman Season 1 promo?
I mean, I backed...
I don't know about that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about that, but I backed... I definitely have forbidden characters that are not acceptable in tournament use, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, the history of Exceed is long and storied.
That's
there's a bunch of stuff that we wish we could reprint and can't.
Yeah.
At this point.
That's so true.
Well, before we get into the main show, I think I wanted to ask everybody what's the coolest thing that you have acquired recently? What are you jazzed about? It could be a game, could be a book, could be a TV show that you're watching, or some other thing. But what's the coolest thing that you've gotten or experienced lately?
Well, let's start from right to left. Jerry, you go first.
Yeah, so does it have to be an object? Can it be an experience?
Sure, experience great.
So I, as a very young person, the very first role-playing game I was ever exposed to was Dungeons and Dragons. I think at least partially because there wasn't another one, in the continuum at that time. But I was exposed to it at 6.
Wow.
So my dad was the oldest of 11 brothers and sisters. And so the youngest of them were like, not peers exactly, but they were, much closer to my age than most people were in that family. And so I had spent the night over at my grandma's house, and then they had sort of invited me into this game. And then when I got home, I told my mom about it, and she got super mad because we were exactly the sort of people and in exactly the kind of church that had opinions. Vis-a-vis the devil.
I see.
That's wild. Okay.
Yeah, and so I was trying to explain. Even as like a kid, I was trying to explain to my mom. I'm like, no, I don't worship the devil. I spent the whole night killing devils. Like I feel like you're under some misconceptions. But anyway, it was a really big problem at the time. But these days, I just like the story, but I also really appreciate it because I think that a lot of people, when they get into role playing, they start with D&D and then they don't actually go anywhere else.
Right.
It's sort of genericized, like Kleenex or Jell-O,
or
right? Role playing.
It's kind of all role playing.
Yeah, role playing and D&D are sort of, they become synonymized, and because I couldn't do that, I've always sort of sought out weirdo RPGs to check out. And there's so many neat things happening in the indie space in terms of RPGs. As you know, we've actually discussed this a bunch, Brad. But there's a really neat Tales from the Loop sort of like has a foot in both worlds, where it's definitely an indie project, but it's got some real legs underneath it because it's based on these really cool art books. But essentially,
This is the one by Free League, right?
It is indeed.
Yeah, I've seen this. It looks super cool.
Oh man, the art is just a stellar, really inspirational stuff. And if you are 13, or whatever right now, the 80s is essentially Middle Earth. I mean, it's an incomprehensible time to them, right?
Yeah.
There was no YouTube. Just picture it.
That's fair.
And exactly right. And just like all the trappings and expectations that they have for the world, they're not there. They're the way that they live is not possible in that time. And so it's really, really fun to run games like Tales from the Loop for these kids. So I actually run a game of Tales from the Loop, like literally like for all the girls in our neighborhood.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, and just they are constantly impressing me with stuff. But because they don't really know any of the tropes, I can just hammer home all of these, like all the heavy hitter RPG tropes, and for them it's the first time they've ever experienced it.
Oh,
So-
that must be magical.
Dude, it is so great. And so basically what's happened in this is that, the loops have been installed, and I said it in Spokane, which is where I grew up, but the main reason I did that is because they can basically go anywhere in Spokane, anywhere they want to go, and I can take them there with a reasonable level of fidelity. And so we were putting together this, just like sort of the vibe for the adventure. And so like last night, essentially they have figured out that the antagonist is actually an older version of one of the characters from the party.
Yes!
Okay, right?
Okay.
They're not ready. Like, I'm not saying that it's like especially smart. I think I've rendered the character well, but right now it's at that point where there's a lot of secret information, and she is the only one that knows that she is the villain, and she doesn't like know how to bring it up to her friends yet. And so, playing a role-playing game in general with young people is something, but playing with a group that's all like young women, just the dynamics and what they consider to be the most important part of these experiences is just very, very different. Like, none of them are I have played with groups of 12-year-old boys, and it turns into like they're slitting throats from 5 minutes.
That's serious, huh?
The murder hobos. I love it.
Oh man.
Yeah,
It's
but
a wild ride,
definitely.
folks.
yeah.
Every group creates something unique. America was just telling me yesterday is this group, and you can't get them all to ride on the same bus, like no matter what happens.
Well, sometimes they do, and I mean, I love that group anyway, right? Like, it's honestly my failing. Speaking of which, let's not skip to me, Brad. Let's go to Josh. Josh,
Oh, okay.
Josh, have you gotten into something really interesting so far?
I'd like to think I'm always into something interesting. It's just what other people find it interesting. Now torn between talk about RPGs and talk about Bullet. I guess I could talk to RPGs, and we've already heard a little bit about it. So, well, I'll kind teaser. Brad, stop me if I say too much. So I've just found out recently about something Bullet related that I'm going to get to work this year, which is extremely exciting. So I've been dealing with that, the repercussions of that project plan and whatnot, and work with potential outsiders that project might entail. So hopefully I'll be able to say more about that later.
Yeah, well,
this
don't
year.
worry. Even I am confused about what you're talking about. That was
Oh,
so
good.
elite.
Oh, maybe I've got a
Very
license in my
careful.
pocket you don't know about.
Oh yeah!
Maybe,
How the
maybe.
president
We are-
doesn't even know. Oh, when the cat
Yeah.
is out, the mice come to play.
Yeah, we are gearing up for licensing expo. So if you have any licenses that you suggest we solicit for level 99, or that we try to make a product for.
Oh, you're gonna open the
let us
floodgates.
know.
You're gonna open the
I mean,
floodgates.
sure, yeah. Like what,
All right,
I don't
chat.
think we want to do like a new game, but if you want to say like, hey, you guys should do, new edition of Exceed with X, or can you get this movie for for a new imprint of Noir or something,
Oh, that'd be
like,
interesting.
post it up. Let us know your ideas.
Right.
We're always we're interested.
Okay.
And we're planning that trip now.
Well, I'll be quick with mine, since there's 4 of us, and, we need to hurry on to what all the people came for. I recently just got a song commissioned for one of my characters in Argent, specifically Nostros Callahan, the Chancellor of Argent. So if anybody wants to hear the OST from my game of Argent, the RPG, tabletop RPG, please feel free to listen to the soundtrack. I have an entire
Right.
OST for this.
So
Argent
we
game.
have a you created a non-canon soundtrack for the canon cast of the board game and slash video game slash RPG.
No. I made a I commissioned a non-canon soundtrack for the player characters and important NPCs in my Argent role-playing game.
Role-playing game.
Yes. All right.
We really got to get around to publishing that.
Yeah, it's like one of the best RPG systems I've ever played.
One of the best RPG systems never published.
Never published, ever. But yeah, Brad,
yeah.
give a listen to this song. It's pogged as heck. But yeah, Brad, you go. What have you been doing?
Oh well, gosh, a lot of things going on. But recently I have been really getting into Core Keeper. I don't know if you're familiar with this. It's a top-down. It's like top-down Minecraft. If like if Terraria is side-scrolling Minecraft, then this is top-down Minecraft, and it's pretty cool. I'm playing it locally with some friends I'm playing it remotely with some friends on a server, and we just got through the first kind of introductory area of the game, first 3 bosses, and now the world has really opened up, and we're starting getting into automation and exploration and etc. But it's been a wild ride. It's been a lot of fun. And I'd recommend Core Keeper to y'all if you haven't played it out yet. But that's that's that.
That's that. Okay, Brad, thank you, because now that you're done, we can move on to the main meat of this show.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Didn't mean to hold you up.
Yeah. You've been holding us up, Brad. Carry on,
Oh.
Everyone, as you're all aware, if you've clicked on this video, we have a new Bullet heroine coming as a promo. We have Jerry here because it's one of his characters. Well, technically, let's talk a bit about the history of this character. Jerry, can you give us a little insight as to who Anne Claire is? I'm posting an image on the Discord right now, and I'm changing the YouTube video to show her bio on the screen.
Ooh.
Oh, fancy. So, Jerry, can you give us a little bit of insight? Who is this character? Like, how did this happen?
Well, I don't listen. Brad called me on the phone, and he's used to me calling him because I want him to make a board game about something that my friend Mike and I made up a long time ago. But this time he wanted to know if I had any cool characters that I thought would be a good match for Bullet, because he knows that I am a big fan of Bullet. And so it's very, very cool to meet the creator of said Bullet. And I was just very... listen, this is how big a fan I am. I got the version with the wooden tokens. So, it's pretty impressive stuff. Is all I'm saying. I opted for the elite version.
Yeah, we gotta play one of these on stream sometime. We gotta do a live Bullet play with
Dude,
you.
I am in. I think it's really, really neat. And one of the things that I really like, also, there's a really amazing scripted version on TTS.
Yeah, so Ramon Flame makes that one. I believe
so clean.
They're in the chat. Are they in the chat?
Yeah,
they're in the chat.
Yeah, you can. Because that's when Jerry calls me up and is talking about he's like, yeah, like this mod by Ramen is amazing. I'm like, yeah, we know.
We know.
The
Ramen.
community's doing some amazing stuff with this game.
Yeah.
No, it's ridiculously, it's just ridiculously good. I mean, it's essentially like a video game tier execution that is a mod for TTS. Like it's incredible.
Yep.
And and the truth is, it's like the gameplay itself is not so complex that we couldn't manually do it all, right?
Right.
It's not that crazy, but when you get access to the gameplay that's that good, and you basically get it for free, like it does all the bookkeeping and all the background stuff. Jeez. It's just really, really nice. But he wanted to know if we had any cool stuff that we thought might make a cool character inside Bullet. And so I tried to think of like the most, like at least for me, like the like the person that fit the bill almost instantly. There's two that we could have done. We could have gone with something inside of our like Ironwood thing. There's daughters of the Ironwood who are essentially like teen sorceress in full communion with nature that act as its like direct instruments. That would definitely work for this as well. And if we ever want to do another character,
Nudge,
I
nudge.
think Hannah.
I actually made a
think
design for both of them
Yeah,
secretly.
exactly. And then Hannah would work, and like there's all kinds of really Trill. There's a few daughters of the Ironwood that I think would be a really nice match, but I have always had a soft spot for Anne Claire, just because Anne Claire is my character. Like in Penny Arcade, there is a niece type character. Whenever you're putting something like this together, whenever you're writing something that's like loosely based on life, between Mike and I, it always gets mixed up because sometimes we think that one or the other characters we have would be a better voice for a specific joke. And so that the nieces in Penny Arcade are actually Mike's nieces.
Oh.
Like
But
like the real, like based on his real life.
yeah,
instance.
exactly. But then we had a specific storyline that we thought would be funnier with Tycho, and so essentially this is like his like crafty niece that was sneaking into E3 and this type of stuff. That was sort of like the Hook origin. She's popped up a couple other times, but inside the sort of RPG games that we made a while ago, first with Hothead, and then with Zeboyd Games, who I think they just came out with their new RPG, which is it's like the Women of Shakespeare in like a JRPG type setting.
That's amazing. That sounds so funny.
I
Wild. Okay.
think that anyway, they're great. You would actually love them, Brad. Like they're really
Yeah.
neat. The collaboration opportunities are there. I think are massive. But
Yeah,
so
get in touch.
the first two games were sort of like light RPG, adventure game type hybrids, and then the last two are straight up JRPGs, like handmade from the core up. And
Are these like
There's
video
some
games
real-
or are they tabletop?
yeah, these are all video
This is
games.
The Rain Slick Precipice of Darkness series. right?
Exactly right. And so
Yeah.
the last two basically look like sort of 16-bit SNES type RPGs, and the first two are not. They look like something else, and they have like a fundamentally different gameplay motif. But the Anne Claire Forthwith is Tycho's niece in that, except Tycho is not a good person.
Jerry, wait. Jerry, wait.
Only in that context, though, right? In all
terms
other
of the-
contexts, saint.
Yes. He is essentially part of a family that essentially sees their task they see their task as being it's like ultra nihilism, essentially. Like they want to destroy the universe, but like not to remake it in their image. They want to destroy the universe because it's fundamentally immoral, and the only thing that can morally replace it is a void.
I
So-
see.
So
And-
they're evil nihilist philosophers.
Exactly. And then, but the difference, the thing that separates, like Tycho, at least in that, is in that he's like a fictionalized character. It's not like my character in Penny Arcade or something, or even a reflection of me. It's much more like a traditional fictional work. But Tycho disagrees with the philosophy in one respect, whereas he thinks that the issue is actually the gods that they've been left with, that a good universe is possible, but it just requires a different seed. And so he hijacks his family's long project and essentially destroys the universe except for Anne Claire. And Anne Claire is the only motive force in that universe, and that's how the 4-game series resolves itself is that she is able to manufacture a functional, beautiful, proper universe, because she herself is an engineer. That's basically the arc.
Okay, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot more than I was expecting from the cameo appearance that we got. Sorry, I didn't know the ending, and now
Okay,
I'm like,
yeah.
wow,
So
it's tough.
obviously, Anne Claire's now Space Witch, right, Josh?
Yeah, this very much fits with the bullet
Right.
ether,
The ultimate.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
She's
like
especially
power levels.
exactly like a mega engineer, and so whereas Tycho is all sort of like he's like a Lovecraftian hero. It's about sequestering and utilizing dark knowledge. She's like the opposite, and so she seemed to me like the perfect match as something that you guys could do, and I think that my faith was completely well placed, because the mechanics are kick-ass. She looks amazing, and the robot that she built in the second game is a perfect PvE co-op agent. So I'm just very, I could not be more pleased.
Okay. Well, speaking of the
I
mechanics,
really love this quote on here, and I'm going to read it out for everybody.
Sure.
Having sworn off mysticism of all sorts, she has been disappointed to learn that it still persists and in great abundance.
Did I write that?
I think that you must have because we worked really hard to get all of the copy.
Oh God, you had to work so hard, and I
We had
apologize.
to chase you so hard for that stuff.
I
But I think that really
difficult-
brings the character to life.
I'm a
Speaking-
difficult man to work with. Agreed.
honestly, we should really just let everybody see. Jerry, you've talked about how much you like the mechanics. Well, what
I do.
What say we let everybody in to this little circle?
Well, yeah.
All right.
No,
everyone.
dish it up.
Oh, are we going to show a preview of the character?
Yeah,
You
we
should.
have material for it.
All right.
Wow,
Oh,
isn't it
you do.
amazing?
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, post it.
All right, everybody, here is Anne Claire Forthwith's unique ability, the workshop. I'll read it out loud for people at home who are not watching the video. The workshop. You have 2 10-card pattern decks. Your hand size is 3 for each deck. When you would use a pattern, you must combine a card from each hand to form one pattern. Then you
Yes.
discard them into their separate discard piles. Basically, since she's this mega engineer, right? She engineers
Right.
patterns.
Correct.
Oh man.
You've got one deck of regular cards and one deck of clear cards, and when you put those together, they create one pattern, right? And so you can mix and match to put your patterns and your clears together and to kind of create whatever engine you want. So it's quite a neat mechanic. We're really excited to this one. And do you want to speak a bit about how it was developed and tested, Josh?
I would love to hear about this.
So when we develop bullet weapons, especially during Heart, we have a lot of extra fluff or like tools in our toolbox that we have kind of floating for when we need them. And this design was actually really fun when Heart was being developed, and it got cut because of we had to cut down heroines. And so when I heard that to do Anne Claire, it was like, I know exactly what we're doing for her. And we took this, we dusted up this old mechanic and updated it for Anne Claire, and got out the plastic card cores and whatnot. And I think it came out really nicely.
Oh, and the other part that I thought was fun, which I hope was fun for you as well, was that I came up with different names for each side of the card. So
And flavor text for each side of the card,
Yeah.
and the flavor
So-
text lines up.
Exactly. That right? So you basically get there's 10, adjectives or sort of like beginning words and then 10 nouns, and they each join to form their own weird technology, right?
Yeah. So,
So, yeah.
here we have an image of 2 patterns that combine into a single Anne Claire pattern. So we have one deck that's comprised entirely of requirements. So these are the adjectives that Jerry was talking about. So you have Obliterator here, right? And then the clear cards are all clears. Get it?
Oh, damn.
Got him.
And these ones are the nouns, right? So when you put them, when you overlap them, this becomes the Obliterator manifold, right? And
Right.
you know, the clears overlap the requirements in some way, and you also have the quotes that line up. What was your favorite? What was your favorite word that you came up with for this one? There's some crazy ones.
Well, gosh, I mean, I'm not sure where it is. So let me see if I can find what I sent you guys in my docs. Hang on a second.
Okay. Josh, do you have the list of all the words that we use?
Here we go.
Okay.
Oh, nope, I got it.
All right.
Patterns. Yeah. So we have all the first ones are interlocking, phase shifted, strengthium, helical, braided, sheathed, obliterator, anodized, twinned, and molybdenum. Just because I'm a big fan of that word.
What does that word mean? I've been playtesting this character.
It's an element, right? It's an element.
It's an element.
Okay.
It's a
okay.
Yeah. It's an element with novel properties. And then all the nouns are capacitor, twist bolt, conduit manifold, as you saw, duplicator, piston, whirligig, dual gear, flange, and paddle. So there's a little bit of a space team energy in there as well. But then every time you put these two together, then you've cooked up something fun. You can play around with the language too.
Yeah, it's so interesting because you can do something like Obliterator manifold or Obliterator flange, right?
Yes, exactly. So you get to mess around with those all the time, and like while you're setting up the combo that is going to be most effective, you're also playing around with. You also get fun words in addition, and that's just the exhaust of the process. So enjoy.
Yeah. Oh man.
So how was it to test this, Marco? Because you were the dev lead for this game, and you had to test out presumably all these all these combinations.
Right. This character's really, really interesting. So some people might notice that her requirements, the Obliterator requirement requires 4 any bullets, right? An average bullet character would have like 3 requirements. So her requirements are a bit harder on average compared to your usual heroine. That's because of the testing. Because of her ability to essentially pick her clears,
She's just shredding.
She's just like, it's like, okay, well, I have the requirement, but do I have the bullets in the right spot is the usual heroine's gameplay, right? And Claire doesn't care about that. And Claire goes, I have a tool for this. I know exactly what I need to clear what's currently on the board anyway. I don't need to move any bullets. I already have the pattern in my hand. Play it, and
as soon as I had seen the concept, I was just like, this, like the mental part of this, like the gameplay part of this, is going to feel so characterful, right? It's just actually gonna feel like engineering. It's just you can solve problems with these cards.
Right. It's so cool because I feel really smart when I play this character, right? Like,
I mean that's the idea.
Right. Jerry and Josh, you guys like combined your efforts, and this is such a wonderful and fun character to play. It always feels like everything's a puzzle, right? A puzzle that you can easily solve given enough time, right?
Yes.
And nothing is insurmountable because you have all the options available to you. Because unlike all the other characters in the game, when Anne-Claire draws her 3 quote-unquote patterns, she actually has 9 patterns in hand, right? Because she permutates them. So it's really fun. It's really crazy. I honestly think that she's a really interesting character. Jerry, did you know that there was a joke that we did in development that Josh and I would talk about? Because this character's main mechanic is very similar to another game that we have. Somebody in chat already made a joke about it. Jerry, if you think all the adjective cards are like BattleCon styles, and all the
Oh, yeah.
noun cards
So.
are like BattleCon faces.
Very much so. Right?
Right. So a lot. So it's kind of like a fun joke, right? You know, I know you're a fan
I've
of
always
BattleCon.
loved that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have a very, very high opinion of BattleCon as well. Hey, so Marco, you don't happen to have a shot of the PvE boss on the other side of Anclair's card, do you?
Oh, Jerry, I'm wounded that you are asking, but I'm happy that you did. So
Here, we'll take a listen. Let's look at it.
right. Okay, so let's look at it.
Before we go to phase 2 of this
boss
and
fight.
we do that, yeah, before we flip over our cards and go to the boss fight, do we want to take a short minute to maybe clear out any questions that have come up, or
Sure.
to
I see.
do a commercial break? I don't know.
Right. So you're asking us to do PvE. All right, let's do a short Q&A spot here. Ask anybody of any 4 of the people here anything about this character, and we'll try to answer it. Somebody in the chat asked, do you discard both into their respective discards, or is it meant to be sleeved and you will now have created new patterns? No, they're 2 separate cards. They have 2 separate discards.
Yeah, every time.
Yes. And if you ever need to discard something, they just go into their appropriate discard. How long until she is released? That's a production thing, right?
Yeah, well, we're gonna start the pre-orders. Gosh, when is it? When is it, Marco?
Oh.
You know this.
Oh man. Hey Crystal, you're in
But
chat.
it was Wednesday, right?
Crystal, you're in chat. Answer tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow. Thank you, Crystal. Tomorrow we will start having pre-orders for Anne Claire. And then
It's a great experience, honestly. Like as someone who had a chance to see a pre-release, like it. I hope that Bullet has a long.
Yeah.
I hope Bullet has a long life ahead of it, just because you can deliver a character in such a small package.
Yeah.
On the store shelf or in an envelope.
And I have another update for this, is that I said pre-order tomorrow, but in fact it ships tomorrow. It's already in stock. We are going to we've got all the units like at fulfillment ready to go. So you can just, order it and it'll ship out tomorrow.
Okay, well, I'm gonna get a link for this.
So,
Dude, I looked on the store today and I couldn't see it.
Yeah, it's not yet. This is our pre-release. This is pre-release therapy, right? We're hyping this up.
All right.
Oh, I see. You're saying that for the future.
For the future, yeah. Okay, so yes, tomorrow it'll ship. Yes, you will order it and it will ship on tomorrow. And secondarily, and probably most importantly for this product, is that this is a all profits to charity promo.
Correct.
That's
that
true.
That we're releasing. So through this collaboration with Penny Arcade, we are sending all of the profits from sales of Unclear to charities. Which charities?
No profits to Jerry.
No profits to Jerry. So
let me answer that, right? So we're doing some charities here. They're going to be mental health charities. We think mental health is very important.
Nice.
It's been a big deal for me this year as well. You'll be able to select which specific charity you give it to when you do your checkout.
Really?
Yeah. So there's 3 of them. You
That's
get to choose.
awesome.
Yeah.
We talked about it, and we really wanted the people to to make that choice for themselves, to pick which charity they were excited about, and maybe do a little research and learn about these charities so they can make the choice.
Right.
Absolutely. Hey, no, Thomas in chat is saying, hey, is international shipping going to be reasonable? It's brutal getting this stuff to Australia. Now, the only reason I'm mentioning it, Brad, is because that's the amount of packaging for the character, like a Bullet character expansion. It's so light and it's relatively small.
You would think that they would ship these in like a flat envelope, but it's kind of unfortunate, and they don't. They're just like a little too thick, and they're not machinable.
Oh.
And so they want you to put it in in a small box.
It's so small.
Yeah, I know. So this is the thing, is that we probably obviously you can grab a couple other things and make it worth the box. And free shipping is at $100 for us, but we still don't have good international shipping rates. So, when's PAX Australia? Do you want to take a couple of these with you, Jerry?
Well, look, it's not a terrible idea. But PAX Australia is going to be out there in the fall. It's a minute from now for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, it may be a little bit tougher to get things in Australia, but we're working on all that. And other Bullet products are coming back in restock. Like deluxe editions reprinting right now, Star and Heart and Orange all reprinting right now. So everything is in progress. We were getting a lot of stuff, and we're working with our distributors to get more international distribution. So
I'm a sucker for the fancy token. I got to be honest with you. It is so.
Apparently, everyone is, because we can't keep them in stock.
It is so. Like the game is so. I mean, I like the game anyway. I'll play it in TTS where I can't touch any of it, right? But I'm not playing it with the cardboard. Like it's not happening. I want to slide the wooden pieces around.
It's so true. The wooden pieces do.
Far beyond cardboard.
Brad, give me my wooden bullets.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, I posted a meme.
Great chain moves slowly, as Andrew Ryan says.
I posted a meme on Twitter once, because everybody keeps asking on the Twitter when's the wooden bullets back, right? So I posted a meme that's like a picture of a BattleCon Devastation boss fight of a bunch of characters fighting this giant lava golem, and it's just the level 99 staff versus restocking wooden bullets.
I tell you, we should have started a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be funny. I would be upset, Crystal, if they go out in 2 days. I'll have words with my sales and marketing team if we've underordered that significantly.
All right, everybody. I think we've answered enough questions, and Jerry's been really excited to talk a little bit about this PvE boss mode. Jerry, can you give us a little bit of context about this robot that Anne Claire has built? First, before I show everyone, because I wanna tease everyone a little bit first.
Absolutely. So, essentially, the second game, which, as I've said, those are more like pseudo RPG adventure game type hybrids. There is an evil. We wanted to have a kaiju situation at the finale, and so Anne Claire. So you go through and you're trying to get different pieces during the game, and it's not entirely clear why you are doing absolutely everything, because it's a video game. You know how it is, but. Essentially, she creates like a classic 20s style dolly, except it's as a gigantic kaiju size robot. And I thought that would be a fun. PVE side for Anne Claire.
All right. Well, with that in mind, let us reveal. Boop. The Cupitrix engine. This is one of the most annoying bosses, one of the most difficult bosses in this game. So
bosses are hard. PvE is in Bullet is no joke.
It is indeed no laughing matter. Let me get this uploaded.
Can you post it in the stage chat too?
Yeah, it's uploading. Give me a second.
Oh.
All right. So let me read this ability for everyone. Oh, by the way, now the precipice is here. Reference.
Right. We love it.
The precipice. After you use a pattern, you, the heroine, must immediately use another pattern. This second pattern does not cause this UA to trigger again. If you cannot use a second pattern, you lose. So this is a common design thing in Bullet, where we take the heroine's heroine ability and we quote-unquote weaponize it for the boss ability. Josh, can you talk a little bit more about how we got to this design?
Yeah, so, when you play Anne Claire as a hero, and you play 2 patterns to make one, and we thought that it cool to try to force you to do that when you're fighting the boss. And it made sense because you're fighting this giant kaiju, but so you gotta like throw everything you've got, right? You can't just throw one pattern to attack Cupitrix, and you gotta throw a lot. So if you don't, if you're not able to do 2 patterns at the same time, and you get crushed underfoot.
You fall through the precipice.
Exactly.
Oh man. So she also has another ability, which is that you, the heroine, may use a special action during the boss fight, which is that you can spend 3 AP to discard a pattern to draw 2 patterns. Josh, why do we have this?
It's mainly so that you'll have enough patterns to do the other part and not insta-lose.
Right.
Right.
You might, the situations, especially with certain heroines like Senka, specific requirements and stuff, where you don't like what you have, or using a pattern's requirements for a certain heroine are too specific, so you can do a little bit of filtering to prepare with this action.
Yeah, you're on the edge the whole time, which is, I think, the metaphor.
Right. This ability, when I playtest, this ability is, oh gosh, this boss. This boss is so fun to fight against, because you essentially have to make sure that when you use your first pattern, you don't accidentally remove the requirements of another
Yes.
pattern. Because if you do, you instantly die. Because you get crushed underneath the kaiju robot's foot.
Exactly.
It is so interesting. It creates this puzzle where you essentially have to, like, take more risk, because you can't just immediately start clearing bullets the moment you have one pattern on board, right? You would need to wait for a second pattern, and then you would need to wait for that pattern to get more bullets so that you can clear those bullets. Because if you just use one pattern, and then the second pattern doesn't have optimal clears, then, like, what's the point, right? You just wasted a pattern. So really, this boss is a game about your risk management. How willing are you to be optimal with your patterns? Because if you want to be optimal every time, you basically have to risk by putting like 12 to 15 bullets on your board without clearing anything. That doesn't sound very safe. It's not...
No. You have to. It has to be set up like you have to. The shoot basically has to be full of targets all the time.
Right. It's so... I mean, Jerry, have you tried fighting this boss? Like, have you won against this boss yet?
No. I have not. I have not had a chance to do it. I just think it's cool.
Oh man, let me tell you, it's a really fun boss. I can't wait for you to like try it out yourself. I've tested this boss quite a bit, and some of her patterns can also be pretty scary. I don't have a graphic for that, but I can post it on the Discord. So everybody, give me a hot second here.
Yeah, there's some weird combos.
What do the
right?
attacks look like?
Yeah. I'm getting there, Brad. Give me a second.
Okay.
But everybody,
I'm
like,
looking.
everybody, Brad, tell me what you think about this ability. You've played some Bullet.
I've played some Bullet. I haven't gotten to battle Cupitrix yet, and it's we've got a copy of Ancler sitting on the shelf outside, and I've been honestly looking for a chance to break it out.
The barest hint of an excuse.
Yes, so I need to get down and play some more Bullet myself.
Right. But Brad, what do you think about this? Like, you look at this. Does it entice fear in your heart?
Sure. Yes. I what do you say? Well, I think I'll probably just play memory. Yeah.
Wow, counter picking already.
Yeah. I'll cop out and play memory.
All right. So, okay. Well, Josh posted some. I posted some. For YouTube people, I am going to be describing like one of these patterns. So we have Cognitizer, which has a blue requirement on the very, very, very top row. On the very, very bottom row in the same column, there is an any bullet requirement. And then on the very left column is a empty bullet, and on the very right column is an empty bullet. This is a pattern whose requirements encompass the entire sight board. Get it? Because she's a big robot, right? So her patterns Because the thing about patterns and bullet, right, is that if you have an any bullet and a color bullet, that can be anywhere on the board, right? So long as those two requirements are next to each other. But because because distance matters between requirements, by putting requirements on every row and column, this pattern specifically asks you to have a blue bullet in the second column on the first row and an any bullet on the second column on the bottom row.
Right.
And is that the column where the blue bullet is naturally going to fall?
Yes, that's the column where the blue bullet is naturally going to fall.
Okay.
So the real problem in this one is having a blue bullet on the top and any bullet on the bottom. Getting the bullet on the bottom is really hard. Because it implies that you filled your blue column enough that there's stuff in the bottom now. So it's
pretty hard. It's pretty hard because if you don't get a blue one, most heroines can't move a bullet up further.
Right.
So it's pretty difficult to actually get into that slot unless you've hit a blue one. You really need to know what's coming up and leave that there.
Right, exactly. And for people who don't know, the consequence for not fulfilling Cupitrix's patterns is that you discard a pattern. Which doesn't sound like the optimal thing when the boss demands that you use 2 patterns every time you use a pattern, or else you lose.
Yeah. That's the precipice.
Right, that is truly the precipice.
I guess, I think Nagamoto has the point here, which is that you have to work with your teammates to send the spare ones across the table and avoid clearing them off.
Right.
So they become really a resource that your team has to share.
Somebody in chat said,
pretty cool.
Do you need to pay for the whole seat when you'll only need the precipice? I hate this.
Wow.
Nerd.
Nerd! We're all nerds here. But yeah,
attach palm to face. Yeah.
Right. This heroine this boss is quite brutal, but quite interesting. For those who are so Jerry, I don't know if you know this, but on the sides of all of our bosses, you know that all your base are belong to us meme. So we kind of have insane boss warning text on the sides.
Of course. That's one of the things I like about the game.
Right. So
that's one of the tropes, right? Yeah.
Right.
Boss warning text.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of classic shmups with bad English warning.
Oh yeah.
When you fight bosses.
Like big wicked patterns coming in to warn you, and then that's also, but that's also why I liked, because all of the Cupitrix engine cards, they have their own quotes, just like the moves do as well. And it was a blast. It's exactly the type of project that I enjoy.
Wow, yeah, a lot of lore goes into making these bullet heroines, right? Like all their quotes. We try to get the personalities out there, so we're really glad that you were really into it. Like we've had some.
Oh yeah.
We've it's hard sometimes to get all the lore fleshed out. So the fact that you were so you had enough lore to give is really nice.
I mean, because I wrote these, every word of every one of these games I wrote.
Right.
And it was nuts. It required truly bonkersville levels of effort, because we're talking about a situation where every piece of dialogue, including the story overall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then every item description, every spell name and description, every description for any item or object in the world as well. So filling in, opening up a spreadsheet and just filling in boxes until they're all full. I have an incredible amount of experience with that.
Well, we're glad because
that's game design.
That is
modern game design, ladies and gentlemen.
It's so real. It's so real. Well, we're glad, Josh and I do very similar things when we have to do bullet, right, Josh?
Yeah. We definitely, as we argue just as much about getting the mechanics right as we do getting the lore right.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be
had long debates over whether the warning text is just so whether or not we could get with a certain word, flavor text, or a pattern name.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's funny. Sorry,
the
Jerry,
vibes are immaculate, as the teens say.
The vibes. Okay, I mean, can we say the vibes are pogged? Is Pog like an old man thing to say now?
I'll tell you that my children only say Pug when they mean it ironically. So you be the judge.
Oh no, I'm old now. Pog is old now.
Mhm.
You were young when you started, but you're old now, Marco.
Yeah, Ice Pop Addict, thank you. It's got to get crossed out. Yes, not Pog, still fine.
Not Pog is still fine. Okay.
Pog, not Pog.
I am so good. Even Lit is old now. Even Lit is old now.
Yeah, if you ever need to know, I'll give you you can have my teens consult for you. They'd be overjoyed.
Marco, you just need to join me on the other side. I've given up.
Oh,
I just say that's how the kids talk these days. I move on.
Brad, no, you've gone to the dark.
Yep.
So Jerry, how would you mind if I just made an emote on our server for Anne Claire?
Oh, nothing would bring me more pleasure.
All right. Well, as I'm making Beethoven, I'm also making an Anne Claire emote right now, so you can have her confident.
The Beethoven emote is terrifying.
No, yeah, obviously. I mean, we are 100% at your service. I got excited at first when you were talking about it being, like to help, these organizations that have these incredible missions. I thought you said the project was going to be for Jerry, and I was like, all right, finally, Daddy's gonna get his, and I misunderstood you, and I'm continuing to pay for that mistake.
It's okay.
So,
you pay it forward for everybody, and for the people who need it the most, right?
That's no comfort. That's not of interest to me at all. Just put the money in my hand.
All right, so that you can then give it to charity, right?
Let's say yes, and then.
Oh man, Jerry, it was a pleasure to have you on.
Oh my gosh, anytime, fellas, anytime.
Oh man, we're gonna be ending this real soon. We have a small section here for some follow-up questions in case people wanted to do some before we ended. Oh man,
or
the
if you
Cupid.
just want to emote Anne Claire into the chat.
I'm
the
also
stage
gonna
chat,
put the
which you can do
Cupitrix
now.
engine here so that everybody has nightmares.
Cool. Well, as we close down, I do want to say one more special thanks to all of our Discord boosters who have enabled us to have these incredible stickers and emotes on our Discord server. Yes, thank you to all our enablers who go the extra mile to let us do whatever it is we want. You really make the dream possible. So thank you so much.
So are you
being
saying
part
that if
of
something happens on the Discord and it's cringe, it's their fault?
No, it's always your fault.
Yeah,
they just made it happen.
It's still a Marco issue for sure.
Oh no, Jerry, no!
Yeah. I had to choose a side. I had to choose a side fast, Marco.
Very unpog. Oh no.
This is the least Pog scenario imaginable. That's not something the kids say. They never say that.
Right. So do we have a release date? The pre-orders will be up and available tomorrow. When will they be
not
shipped?
A pre-order. The orders will be up tomorrow.
Orders
will be up tomorrow. It will ship.
It will
ship within 24 hours of you placing the order.
Okay, well, there you go, everybody. It seems like I'm not getting any. Here. Just iterating how awesome it is. Reiterating how awesome it is that a Penny Arcade set for Millennium Blades would be. So, Jerry, Millennium Blades, Penny Arcade.
I love Millennium Blades. I love Millennium Blades. I think Millennium Blades is really, really good.
I think it'd be great if Millennium Blades was in stock.
My favorite L99 game has got to be Exceed.
That's true.
I haven't played any games from L99 that I thought were bad. I think they're all quite good, but Exceed is just like it says on the tin. Just unbelievably good, and somehow it is continued to be good. Like that is one of the most consistently good, given its release schedule and the complexity of what it's trying to offer. Like, I think Exceed is a singular product.
Yeah. Should we mention that we're going to be that we're getting on Mizumi Wiki soon?
I think don't say that.
What?
Yeah,
The fighting game tutorial wiki reached out to us the other day.
right. Like,
Dude, that's
some
killer.
some community members are working in on it, and we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty excited
Yeah,
for
but
it.
I'm really excited. I feel like we've achieved like real status.
Real fighting game status.
Real fighting game status. Yes.
I mean, look.
There we
If you
go.
think
We-
about
we-
it,
if that works out.
if you think about it, right, we've reached real fighting game status because if we're about to get to the Mizumi Wiki and some people are already calling for like character bans and character buffs, you're a real fighting game, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
you're a real fighting game when the tier lists come out that quick.
Right.
I think, and we got more Exceed coming up for you. I think the announcement will be in April. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Whoa! You just did that? Okay.
What? I announcing the announcement?
Yeah.
It'll be.
You should
yeah,
be ready by
yeah,
then.
Yeah.
No, he is visualizing the conceptualization process.
I'm so excited. I'm excited. Let me tell you what we're gonna do. Okay, we've produced a new demo deck. All right, like we used to have the Ryu versus Ken demo deck. Now we've got a new demo deck. 2 characters, battle it out. We're gonna make that available like everywhere. And we're gonna make it available for you for free everywhere. So you just be able to pop into our store and buy a copy for $0, and get it
that's
and try
great.
out Exceed and share it with your friends, and it's going to be super cool. And we're going to do that about a month before the launch of the newest Exceed project. So you'll get a chance to play the demo disc, I guess you'll say, to order the demo disc before the game comes out. I don't know if any of y'all remember demo discs, but there you go.
Oh yeah. Sometimes you had to boil them because they got warped in shipping.
Are you serious?
Really?
Yeah. You'd have to like flash boil it really quick to like flatten it out so it would ride okay in the tray.
Wow. That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, finding out about old technologies aside, everyone, thank you all so much for coming to this episode of the Level Up Live. I really appreciate Jerry and Josh for coming on to help us talk about Anne Claire. Woohoo! Hey, Jerry, if people want to hear more about you and more about your characters, where can people find you?
Oh, nothing would bring me more pleasure than to reveal exclusively on this podcast that you can find my stuff at the same place it's been available for the last 23 years, which is to say penny-arcade.com. That's where you can find various things associated with my dark works, my many tendrils. For example, Acquisitions Incorporated, our D&D actual play, a term which did not exist when we started doing it, nor did webcomic as a term exist. We've been around. We've been around long enough for poggers to both be cool and then also be bad. So
Has it really only been 23 years?
Yeah.
Because like when I started this company, Penny Arcade was like 10 times older than
As
me.
an
And now
institution.
I messed
they're
up.
only like twice as old as me, and I'm catching up. We're gonna be around longer. We're gonna be older than you soon. So watch
No,
out.
it's 25. You'll never be older than me.
25.
If we both continue to work, you're never gonna get past me, kid. That's not how it works. I started before you.
The fractions are getting smaller.
Nerds.
There's a Filipino phrase that's actually like this. It roughly
Hit it.
translates to, "You're just about to leave and I'm already going home."
Oh, wow.
Right.
Delicious.
All right, everybody. Thank you all so much. It has been me, your host, Marco DeSantos, also known as the Mechanic Critic, and with me has been the ever amazing, ever magnanimous, ever presidential president of Level 99 Games himself.
That's me, Brad Talton. Thank you so much, and Ian, thank you so much to Josh for joining us as well, the creator of Bullet.
Mhm.
Josh, say hi.
Seems like Anne Claire. I hope we have more heroines coming soon for everybody.
You murdered it, man. You murdered it.
Oh,
Thank you.
and with us has been also special guest, Jerry.
Woohoo!
And we'll all see you next time. Everybody, on the count of 3, we say happy gaming, okay? 1, 2, 3. Happy gaming!
Happy gaming.
Yeah, man.
Bye, everyone.
All right.
Bye.
Good night.